right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and we can call it Piedmont this week in the store. Piedmont week, we've had La Spinetta, Giorgio Rivetti, and Roberto Damonte in from La Spinetta and Malvirà. We've got our vintage Piedmont tasting. I don't know if that's happened already. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get this out. But you know I love the wines of the Piedmont. And these wines that Evan Byrne came in with, he's the brand ambassador for Giovanni Rosso, a small family-owned estate located in the town of Serralunga. They started bottling commercially in 2001, but they've been growing grapes in the Piedmont since the latter part of the 19th century, 1890s. And they were happy selling them until the next generation came around, and this was 1994. They made their first wine, and the brand was born, and they've been organically farmed. They don't want to pay the $30,000 certification. It's not in the budget. And I agree with them. You know what? If you farm your vineyard the right way, you're going to make great wine. Why the heck should you pay some organization $30,000 a year or to certify you and then $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year to keep that certification? Just do the right thing, and it is going to show in the wines like it does with this producer's Barbera, a 2010. A very good vintage in the Piedmont, and this wine is on the skin for 2 weeks, so it does see a little bit of skin contact. Some cement vat fermented, so very traditional, no temperature control, which I don't know why they don't want to take advantage of modern technology, but hey, if the vintage is all right and it's not too hot afterwards, you can do that and make perfectly good wines. Large French oak here, so not a lot of new oak in these wines. Like I said, they really want to showcase their unique terroir in the Piedmont and these varietals. Barbera, which has a lovely dark berry fruit on the tongue, notes of black truffle here and earthy nuance as well. 2010, a fresher vintage in 2009 or 11, and looks like these wines. Barbera's got a lovely acidic backbone, great with food, and this 2010 just leaves your tongue salivating for food. A very good Barbera di Alba, $27. All right, the Giovanni Rosso Nebbiolo Langhe. Everybody needs an entry-level wine to introduce people to Barolo, because Barolo's not cheap, especially when you get into the prized vineyards like these people own. It can be very expensive. This is for $28.50, I think, a great introduction to what the folks are doing here at Giovanni Rosso. This is the first vintage of this wine, 2010. It couldn't came out of been a better year. This wine just spends a few months in the barrel. They want to keep that forward and easy drinking style here, so shorter maceration time. That means they don't leave the grapes, the juice in contact with the skins, which is where all the tannins are and the harshness. And this wine has lovely bright red cherry fruit, some truffle-like nuances, fresh flowers, really pretty bouquet. One of the things I love about Nebbiolo, that spice and the perfume in the nose, and a lovely fruit-forward wine here with tannins, but very ripe and round, and that lovely spice and earthy nuance showing through the finish. An easy drinking style of Nebbiolo, very good juice at under $30. A great entry-level wine from Giovanni Rosso. And then we have the big dog, the Serralunga, the Alba 2008, a classic vintage in the Piedmont vintage. A lot of producers are coming to the store and saying they just love. Producers love the cooler vintages. They love wines that are going to age very nicely. This is a blend of 5 to 6 different vineyards in Serralunga, from north to south in different altitudes, and they're all vinified separately and put together before malolactic fermentation. Make 30 to 40,000 bottles of this cuvee. It spends 2 to 3 years in large barriques. Good amount of white truffle, earthy notes to this wine, some dried floral, rose petal notes, exotic spices. Good amount of red cherry berry fruit here as well. Nice complexity on the nose, and really classic style of Nebbiolo on the palate. A good amount of that dried flower and spice notes coming through on the finish, along with that truffle, and lovely concentrated red berry fruit. This wine's got a firm hand of acidity, lots of everything, but needs a little time here. This 2008, a classic vintage. Some dry tannins coming here at the end. An excellent bottle of Barolo at $60. And then the big boys, the Ceretta Barolo 2007. This is a single vineyard. They've been making this wine since 1996. They make about 8,000 bottles a year, so a tiny production. It's a small amphitheater vineyard that's facing the southeast. Slightly more floral and kind of red berry fruit in this wine. Some lovely dark spice, some black truffle coming in, a licorice, some cherry liqueur-like fruit on the palate. Really intense. Lots of structure here, lots of tannins, and a lot of acidity as well. This wine needs some time, echoing that nuance from the nose through the finish. Very complex, but again, very tannic. Young Barolo needs a nice steak or a couple hours to open up in a decanter. Excellent juice. And then the La Sera, which this is a very famous steep southeast facing vineyard. Warmer and a lot of calcareous soils here. Dark cherry fruit, notes of black tar, rose petal, floral notes, black truffle. Really lovely earth and dark spice on the nose here. Only 4,500 bottles, 1 hectare of vineyards here. Big and chewy wine on the palate. This 2007 vintage, also a lot of structure here. Lots of tannins, dark spice, truffles. A lovely intensity right now. But, you know, these tannins need a little time. 2007, still a very young wine. The fruit is here. It's in balance, but again, just very, very young. Needs a nice big steak or, you know, 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 days in the decanter. Most excellent juice at $102. That's what I had to drink with the folks from Giovanni Rosso. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.